Oh, sorry, everyone. I'm just waking up from that absolute snooze fest of a Grand Prix. Oh my goodness. Yeah, brutal. Not the best. Not the best way to wake up on a Sunday morning to watch some F1 racing, but it's better than no F1 racing. So I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is having a good F1 fantasy day. Let me know where you are watching from, how your teams did, and we'll get all into it here. Michael is the first one in the chat. As per usual, Michael, you're always here. My thoughts, McLaren were more interested in keeping Lando happy than trying to win the race. Oh my God, Michael, I was losing my mind. I'm sure you probably saw it on X, but you gotta give Oscar a shot there. You gotta give him a shot to chase down Max. I would be absolutely fuming if I was Oscar Piastri this morning. But, oh well, I was going to put on the papaya, but I don't feel like they deserve it. So, Haas get the love today on the stream just because, they did their job. It wasn't spectacular, but Behrman, Ocon, Constructor, all rose 0.6 million. So, that is good. That is good. Yeah. Casper says hi. Christoph says that race is so boring. Yep. Let's see. Morning all. Mixed feelings this one. Driver of the day questionable. Less questionable than last week's one, I would say. With our last race with Kimi Antonelli. At least Sonoda is the hometown favorite, I guess. But as you can see here, I've got the prices scrolling, the projected points from F1 Fantasy Tools. Fantastic website. Should definitely go on there with all the stats, that kind of stuff. It's all projected right now because, as you can see over here, we're still in provisional point land in the real game, F1, or not the real game, the official site, F1 Fantasy. So, yeah, I mean, overall, it wasn't too bad. I mean, 3 million price gain. I think I put that there, right? I'm not even sure what I did with... I'm pretty sure I put 3 million. Nope, I had the wrong budget on there. So ignore that budget part on the screen above me whenever that comes up. I got about 3 million increase in my T1 team, 3.2 in the T2 team, and 2.2 in the next squad here. But yeah, hopefully everyone is having a good time. If you are watching live, give it a like. That way other people can get in here and we can talk some F1 fantasy for the next hour. Not entirely sure what we're going to talk about too much. I mean, we could just talk about the race in general, but yeah. Oh man, McLaren, what are we doing here, guys? I mean, it is what it is. So, Casper says, yep, sorry if we woke you up. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I mean, oh man, it was kind of on the verge of being exciting if they had let Oscar go for it, but yeah, I don't know. Was Lando more concerned about keeping Oscar behind than on winning the race against Max because Oscar is a bigger threat? Maybe, but yeah, I mean, as soon as Oscar was getting in with 0.7 seconds of him, Lando suddenly picked up the pace, and then, yeah, I don't know. It's just McLaren, man. What are we doing? Oh, okay. There's a lot of you here. Good morning. 3 million, Michael. Never doubt Verstappen again. Yeah, I mean, the man... He's a 4-time champ for a reason, Ivan, so not bad at all. Yeah, Piastri half a tenth off fastest lap is annoying because that would have given him the 0.3 price rise. Yeah, 0.07 seconds from 20 plus 20 points and a 0.03 price rise, especially if you captain him. Yep, or captain him, DRS boosted him. But yeah, this is my squad right here. As we can look at it, every time I click that window, it goes behind the chat. So I'm going to stop doing that. Yeah, so overall, not bad. McLaren, Williams came through. I was pretty happy with that. It was a little bit scary there for a tiny bit. They were on a 0.2 price rise, and I'm I've played this wrong. But they outscored Racing Bulls, outscored Haas, got the same price rise. So not bad there either. Piastri, 48 points at the end of the day. It's not all that bad either. Berman, Stroll, Ocon all got the job done. Hulkenberg, 0.2 price rise. That's a nice departing present for most F1 fantasy managers, I would say, because I don't think any of us are looking to have Stroll or Hulkenberg in our F1 fantasy teams starting next week. But yeah, Williams getting a nice little price gain there, especially with Mercedes going up 0.3, so catching up a little bit there as well. But we won't know all the official price rises, all the official price changes until the game is finalized, which will hopefully be at some point today, maybe 6-7 hours, I would say, just because, well, it shouldn't take them too long, actually, because there was like barely any overtakes. As you can see here, Berman with 5, Gasly, Albon, Sainz with 4, Russell with 3 as well. So yeah, really, really not that bad at all. So maybe we'll get a pretty quick turnaround here in F1 Fantasy. Just, I guess the only thing would be like pit stop points, but it is what it is. Luke comes in and says Stroll also did his job, not crashing. Good job by them. Bad moment to change to change Kimi for Piastri. Yeah, I actually have that here. Let me see if I can bring this over. Here we go. Yeah. So let me slide this in here. After I blathered on for 2 whole weeks about upgrading Antonelli to Piastri because there's no point in holding Antonelli anymore because he is also an A-tier driver. Piastri, 24 points, 0.1 million rise. Antonelli, 23 points, 0.3 million rise. It is what it is, folks. I mean, the process was good. Antonelli getting the fastest lap is, whatever. So, I mean, I'll take the good with the bad. Antonelli got driver of the day for me on the last race. He got 10 points for me in that race, or 20 points with the driver of the day. That race took 20 points away from me. So now we're even, Kimmy. Leave me alone the rest of the season. I'm not entirely sure if I'll be going there. It's really tough to kind of make sweeping generalizations after 3 races, but Kimi has been a little underwhelming. Like, he's getting the job done. He's getting the points, like all that stuff that Mercedes need him to do. But for F1 Fantasy, Russell's right there. Piastri can be gotten to, especially in Bahrain now when we're all going to be flipping down to these lower tier assets. The Lawson gamble did not work at all. Neither did my Sonoda gamble. As you can see here in my T3 team here, Formula B, 14 points was saved by driver of the day. If he had gotten the just the 4 points without driver of the day, he was on for a 0.6 decrease. This time, Kimi did deserve driver of the day. Yeah, I guess he did. By Hulkenberg, Ocon, Welcome, Hadjar, and Bortoletto. Let's see here. What else have we got? I was really impressed with Yuki this weekend. Should be interested to see his progress with Red Bull. And similarly, I'm excited for Isaac. Well, we can all talk about who we're going to dump for Bahrain. I know. It's going to be pretty nice. There's going to be the kind of game is going to open up a little bit for some people. Did Hulk and Stroll rise in price as well? They sure did. I mean, Stroll went up 0.6. Hulkenberg is going to go up 0.2, barring some 5 overtakes just being handed to him. I didn't even realize I had the same T1 team as you. Great minds think alike, I guess. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it came out okay. I was saying this on X yesterday as well. Like, with the 3 teams I ended up with, I pretty much covered most of the template. The F1 Fantasy community was on X and in the Discord and stuff. Our F1 Fantasy Tools Discord was kind of talking about for most of the week. So the overall, it was kind of a wash. So taking a hit for some of these assets probably didn't work out in the end. Bro is too used to FPL. Yeah, I know. I said captain instead of DRS boost. That was a slip of the tongue there, Nixie. Yuki Luke's promising with a decent qualifying, better than anything so far at least. Kept 1 free transfer by not replacing Antonelli with Piastri. Was that a good move? Ivan, that was a great move because, I mean, you lost 1 point, you gained 0.2 in budget, and now you have an extra free transfer to not take a hit. So that's where we're at. Let's see here. Let's keep going. You know what? Let me just let the people know that we are live real quick. Let's Let's see. Quote, "We are live. Come join the rest of us. F1 Fantasy Crazies." Perfect. All right. Back to it here. Stroll was like, let's get that 0.6 rise and just chill at the back afterwards. Yeah, when I was looking at the timing tower, Casper, I was like, is there something wrong? He's like 35 seconds off the back. Like, I know he took a pit stop, but that seemed even longer for that as well. Like, Piastri is better than Antonelli for the future, surely. Yeah, I think he will be. But it's just a little frustrating because I was like, oh, this is easy. Like, I don't know. But kind of got to go with process over the results. So, I mean, the thinking was fine. It just didn't work out in the end. I think this is a good point to turn for points if you can afford Piastri, McLaren, Mercedes. That is my plan. We got to wait to see what the finalized budget is here for all these guys. But I was in the F1 Fantasy Tools Discord a little bit before I came on. And Leapsfrog, the 2024 world champ, was saying that Hadjar needs -4 for a 0.6 price rise, so he's going to be a must. He says that Stroll's going to need 16 points, so that ain't happening. And then he said someone else. I thought he said, I'm not sure, but I think Bortoleto needs 7 or something like that, he was saying. So maybe not or Doohan needs 3. Bortoleto needs 9. Hadjar needs -4. So Doohan and Hadjar are probably my early targets for next week. And that should bring us enough money to go up from Williams to Mercedes. But we will see. Is Stroll and Hulk drivers to offload for Bahrain? I think so. Stroll and Hulkenberg are probably the main two that I'll be looking to get off of. I can go McLaren, Mercedes into Bahrain. But should I maybe keep growing budget? But we'll keep growing budget with our back markers there, Ivan, with like Behrman and Ocon should still be on for pretty good price rises because they just keep like not scoring all that much. So that's not too bad. And then with Hadjar and Doohan, they should be okay for price rises. We should feel pretty good, especially Hadjar. Man is rapid. Like if the Racing Bulls merch wasn't so hideous, I'd probably be interested in a little bit of Isaac Hadjarness there. Hadjar now looks like the must driver. Yeah, I agree. What's the plan for Bahrain? Get rid of Stroll, Hulkenberg, probably Albon if you have him as well, and like bring in like Hadjar, Doohan, Sainz. I don't know if anyone's worked out how many points Sainz needs. Bahrain with 106.8 million hammer time. Wow. Crushing it. Limitless user got a decent comparative return. It looks like similar to a sprint weekend. Yeah, Peter, because there were like no overtakes. And if you nailed it with like Max, double McLaren, and like Russell and Ferrari, you were probably looking pretty decent. Pretty good weekend over the rest of the field, so not bad at all. Formula Bean said, I had Piastri, Red Bull, and Mercedes. Not the worst one, but Lawson's 0.6 does really hurt. 2 out of 10 race for me, Mac Attack. Yeah, I mean, like, thank goodness. Like, this is why F1 fans need to play F1 Fantasy, because at least it gives us some intrigue in the race. We're like, we all are watching there, like, we got the radio message, like, hey, if Lando can't get to Max, let me go take a crack at him. And we're all just there like, let him go. Let him get that overtake and get into second place. Maybe he can hunt down Max. You never know. And Piastri would have had that 0.3 price increase. But, oh well. So yeah, that's why I think everyone should play F1 Fantasy if you're an F1 fan. Do you think it's convenient to go -10 in Bahrain to change Williams from Mercedes and letting go Hulk and Stroll? I think that you pretty much nailed hit the nail in the head, Hector. With that, I think it's probably going to be the 3 most popular moves over the next 6 days for F1 Fantasy. So I think you crushed it there. Colin says Stroll is projected 0.6 increase, but didn't he need at least 1 point? And from what I saw, he was at the back the entire time, or am I wrong? He actually got an overtake at the very start, Colin. I think he overtook Bortoleto when Bortoleto fell through the back, so that's the 1 point. Bada bing, bada boom. I guess he's saying that he actually got 2 overtakes. If you look here, at least on the F1 Fantasy Tools projections, they're saying 2 overtakes made. So 2 points, 2 overtakes. Not bad. Same team as you. Glad I stuck with Williams rather than -10 to Norris and Haas. Good day, sir. Fraser says, any tips on how I can get these hours of my life back? Oh my God. But yeah, Fraser, you hit your Limitless chip, right? How'd that go? I think I maybe saw you in the F1 Fantasy Tools Discord earlier saying that it went pretty well. I think you were kind of saying you were going triple Ferrari, so it probably worked out okay for you. But yeah, drop that lineup in the chat and let us know how you did, at least projected wise on F1 Fantasy Tools. That would be great. We'd love that just to see how it did. And if you want your live scoring, F1 Fantasy Tools are doing a promo code with my name, UWin50. You'll get 50% off your first month, which is not all that bad because we got 2 races left. So, I mean, even if you wanted to wait until like Friday for the projections to come out, you'd get the next 3 races in the first month. So, would highly advise you guys doing that. Fraser says, glad. Oh, he did. Okay. I swapped Max for Russell. Ouch. Ouch, Prashan. That is not great. How much increase will Haas and Williams get? Williams and Haas and Racing Bulls will all go up 0.6 million this week, as long as the pricing algorithm doesn't change, whatever, that kind of thing. But yeah, if anyone else has questions, drop them in the chat. Happy to answer them as well. We got like 100 people watching right now and 17 likes. So ask me a question, I will answer it, and then give me a like. Let's make that a trade there. How about that? Even if it's about anything. Although there's not a lot of questions coming out of the Japanese Grand Prix. Revenco. Honestly, Bahrain will be a no-brainer. McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri looks like the best team for points and budget with Behrman, Ocon, and especially Hadjar looking really good. Yeah, totally agree. And then we'll just fill in the blank. I mean, I'm probably looking at a -10. That's what I was saying on X. Was that yesterday? 2 days ago? That's why I went with this route rather than the Lando route. But it was like I was going to have to take a -10 this week to get in Lando and then a -20 in Bahrain to flip the back to the template. So that's kind of what. So I was like, I'll save myself 20 points and I'll take a little bit of a hit. So yeah, not really that much. How much? 4 points in total there. So it is what it is. It's fine. 156 points compared to 161 and 160 is fine, but it's more importantly about this +3 right here. Keep gaining that budget. So I guess I'm on 105.1 million now because I was an idiot and forgot to update that budget gain, but that's okay. Report otherwise. I was on McLaren plus Haas, Oscar, Albon, Hulk, Stroll, Ocon. Boom. Bingo. Nailed it. Fraser came in with his Limitless saying, did okay, gambled on no max, bit silly, but still worth it for Limitless. His big differential is so few overtake. Yeah, I mean, that must have been very, very nice. So great job by you, Fraser. And we were talking about that on, what was that, Wednesday's Q&A live stream? You were coming in with that and you were tempting me with my T3 team here. I took a gamble on Sonoda. Yeah, I just was like feeling it yesterday on the deadline stream. So it is what it is. Maybe long term will be better, but we'll see if they're actually going to price him as like a first race asset or a 3 race asset. Tough to tell here. Connor says, I have Piastri, Albon, Ocon, Stroll, Hulkenberg, McLaren, and Haas. No clue what to do for the next race. Well, Connor, if you have 2 free transfers, you can take a -10 and you should be able to do Stroll and Hulkenberg out for Hadjar and Doohan, and then upgrade Williams to Mercedes. That's my plan. And if you have 3 free transfers, you can do that for free. If you have 2 free transfers, you can do that for -10. And it's probably worth it because that's what I'm going to do. What are your own thoughts to start what are your thoughts on your own start of the F1 fantasy season? Overall, pretty good. I'm happy I played the wild card when I did. Felt like I learned from last year that I didn't adjust to how the game was kind of going, and I left it a little bit too late to wildcard my team there. So I was happy to take the adjustment to China. It's worked out, back on track in the budget building department. Now we're just behind in points. So that's where we kind of got to get to in the points department. I mean, it's literally an hour and 20 minutes after the last Grand Prix. I think I'll probably be switching to the McLaren Mercedes build for this week, and then maybe adjusting back to some budget building at some point as well. But the thing about Bahrain and Saudi Arabia is I kind of want to play my limitless chip in Miami. So we got to start thinking about those transfers ahead as well. And it's really tough to think about that without race results. So I think I mentioned on the deadline stream yesterday that I was going to do a future planning video. I'll probably wait until after Bahrain to do that now, because it's just like too many ifs, buts, and candy and nuts and stuff. So we'll probably wait on that. But we got to think about Saudi Arabia into Miami, because the team that you lock in for Saudi Arabia, if you're playing your limitless chip in Miami, will be the team that builds budget in Miami as well. So we got to remember that. We went over that quite a lot in China. Madnack says, bro, he could only... Whoa. Only he is the GOAT. Yeah. Connor, -20. Yeah, Max was awesome. Sorry. I don't want to just gloss over that. Red Bull brought it. I kind of was listening to the pre-race coverage on F1 TV, and they said that Red Bull had actually left a little bit of downforce on the table for qualifying to set up better for the race. And I was like, that's ominous. Okay. What was the best team world rank this weekend? So F1 Fantasy Tools have been saying that they're going to build the optimal team tool that they have most weeks. I think it's supposed to be either before or after Bahrain. I don't want to put words in their mouth or any expectations, because everything they do is fantastic. So great job by them as always. But they usually have an optimal team tool that will come out at some point this season. But with how many changes there's been to the pricing algorithm and how much effort they're putting into that, I know it has to be a little bit on the back burner so they can get this live scoring and the budget building thing up. Connor says -20 for those moves. If you have a wild card, I don't mind using it for -20. Casper says with 106, you should be barely able to afford McLaren Mercedes Norris and McLaren Red Bull Max, both with Hadjar, Bortoleto, Doohan, and Behrman. Okay, so I think it'll be... Okay, so yeah, thanks for doing that math, Connor. Appreciate that. So I think it'll be Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Hadjar, Doohan with McLaren Mercedes for me in Bahrain. I like it. I like it a lot. Can Max be first option at least for next race? He could be, but it'll be fun to go back to Bahrain after 3 races, because that's where the preseason testing was, and Red Bull was pretty firmly 3rd or 4th fastest at preseason testing. A lot can change from now until then. Obviously, there's been 3 races, been a lot of learning with the car and stuff like that. So overall, it's we should get some actual dry running with no grass on fire, lots of data over Friday and Saturday's free practices. I will be back with the deadline stream next week as well. We'll do team selection tomorrow. We'll do a Q&A live stream on Wednesday. And then it'll be Saturday afternoon, evening-ish for me. We'll do the deadline live stream next week, guys. So we'll have plenty of data to go over. Fraser says, plus my team in the background, get over 3 million. Nice. Fraser is crushing it. And I am not, because I'm falling behind. Is your T2 team looking like a -20 or skipping Merc to Saudi? Yeah, maybe, because that's what I was saying. I took the wild card, so this week I didn't have to take a -10 to get those points. So if I maybe need to take a -20 next week, I guess it spreads it out a little bit over the course of 2 weeks. But it could be an option where I don't go with Mercedes for the T2 team. Maybe just build a little bit more budget, but it could also depend on how the teams look at the track for sure. What I'm thinking is to see if I can grow more budget if I can't afford McLaren Mercedes, and then maybe wild card for Miami. Okay, I don't hate that either. Mr. Reisman says, can't believe I overslept for the race for the first time in years. At least I didn't miss much as I began watching from lap 26. Well, you did miss one of the more exciting pit stop races that we've ever seen. But unfortunately, so did the TV cameras. Like, what were they doing? They knew what was happening. Oh, it was so frustrating. Yeah, I used to work in sports TV, and I was like, what is happening? Like, that truck must be... the volume of shouting in that truck must have been absurd. Mr. Iceman says, morning, everyone. Focusing on budget building these first few races, but slowly dropping my league ranks. How many points behind do you think we can drop before we won't be able to make it back later in the season? That is so hard to tell, Sparrow. It's a good question, but it's really hard to kind of say how many points is too few points. I mean, it all honestly depends on what your rivals have done. Like, if you've got a couple of people in your league that have already played their extra DRS boost and their limitless chip, like, I wouldn't worry about it, because you're going to have to, like, you'll get to play those chips at some time as well, hopefully on a more optimal weekend. So no worries there. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Keep building budget. I've seen some people on X that have been going for points, but they've also had like 2 or 3 people that are going to keep dropping in budget. And like, those people will, I guess there'll be transfers ahead of us now, as a lot of us bring in those dropped assets, but they will also have lost their value. So they won't be able to use that funds to upgrade more assets to the top of the field kind of thing. Sammy says, thank God I'm Australian, didn't have to wake up. Yeah. Not great. What's the plan forward for those who didn't focus on budget building? I was just talking about that, Kipto Mike. So, I mean, if you have like a Hajar or a Duin or a Signs in your team, I guess I would just hold on to them and try to ride the prices for the next 3 weeks to kind of gain that budget back that you've lost over the first 3 races of the season. But it should be like a lesson learned that getting off of those assets faster than that is a great idea as well. Guillermo says, in Portugal, the start was 6 a.m. Yeah, it was 7 a.m. here in Germany, Guillermo, so not too bad. How about using Final Fix for me? I will use 2 free for Hulkenberg, Stroll to Hadjar, and maybe use Final Fix for... Can't use Final Fix on a constructor. Report otherwise. So that is a wrench in your plan. I think I've said it on every live stream for every content creator stream. I just felt Limitless was the obvious choice, but people still stuck on saving it for sprint races. Yeah, you were shouting that, Fraser, so props to you. You even made me think about it with my T3 team, so I appreciate you like sharing your thoughts there as well. I'm not saying that... Yeah, I mean, I'm not super confident about playing the Limitless in Miami either, if I'm just like kind of being honest, because like a street track, I don't know, like weird stuff can happen, the weather could be bad, so it might be like a time where it could be played anytime this year. We don't know, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I appreciate you letting me know your thoughts. I'm currently at 106.2 million budget. Thoughts on what to do next? Just depends on your team, Matthias. If you've got a team similar to my T1 team, I think you're going to be moving towards the Mercedes build. Is any chip an option for Bahrain? Well, Fraser says, plus it's nice to not have to think about Limitless for the rest of the season. That was a great point, because yeah, Limitless can kind of mess with you, especially extra DRS boost as well, where you're trying to set up for having 2 tier A drivers. Is any chip an option for Bahrain? I mean, if a couple of teams look dominant and you've got a good budget building squad, but I'm assuming a lot of us won't have a good budget building squad for Bahrain anymore unless you've held on to the sinking assets for this long. So Bahrain, there may not be any chips on the table all that much, because I think a lot of us will be going 2 tier A constructors, so you won't have 2 A tier drivers as well. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at there. I don't think you'll need to worry too much about a Bahrain chip unless a tier driver qualifies incredibly low. Int or says, I'm at like 105 million. Should will be worrying about budget. I was going to wild card next week and go McLaren Mercedes and a good air tier. No, I think that's perfectly fine. I think you're fine. You've got a lot of budget. So yeah, that's where we're at. I think if you can keep kind of doing a balance, I mean, with a McLaren Mercedes build, you'll probably need to get in some of those lower tier assets that are likely to rise. So you're probably just going to keep rising. Your budget's going to keep rising anyway indoors. So no worries there. Fraser says, if I still had Limitless, I would be looking to use it in Monaco. I don't hate that either. Monaco is, looking here, after Imola. So we'll have some first round of upgrades there. Yeah, it's between... Oh, so it's bang smack in the middle of another triple header here where we've got Imola, Monaco, and Spain back to back to back. So yeah, could be interesting. I like that suggestion, Fraser. Thank you again. Kieran says, where do you see yourself finishing overall this season now that we have the first few races over? I mean, I said it after Australia. We're going from 901,000 to the top 1,000 this season. We're doing the recovery drive of all recovery drives. So that is still the goal, Kieran. I've had two pretty good bounce back weeks here. The budget building has been going successfully. So why not still shoot for the top 1K? I mean, I got it done last year, 991st. in the world last year, so trying to go back-to-back top 1K finishes. That is still the goal. Piastri missing the fastest lap by 0.074 seconds. Yeah. I swear there was one time on the screen where it said that Piastri had a faster time than Antonelli, but the fastest lap marker was next to Antonelli's name instead of Piastri, so maybe the timing tower still has... some issues to work out there, but yeah, it does look like Antonelli actually got the fastest lap. Bahrain has very different conditions than in testing, plus 30 this time I heard. Yeah, that's a great point, Formula B. Like, it was very cool for Bahrain compared to testing, where Mercedes did look pretty good. And yeah, I mean, China last week was pretty hot and Mercedes looked pretty good, and then it was cooler today and Mercedes wasn't flying through the field, so maybe that 2024 narrative that Mercedes only runs well in the cool is out the window now. We've got like 2 of those 3 weekends done. I mean, the wet was crazy. Macatech says, where in the world do you reside? I am in Germany. I'm in southern Germany. So that's why I'm on my second cup of coffee, because it was a little bit of an early start. And I would come on here and chit chat F1 Fantasy. I really appreciate everyone joining me here. So what are we at right now? 120 viewers and 40 likes. Got to hit that 50% mark, everybody. So if I have answered your question, or if I have indirectly answered your question that you were thinking about, hit that like. Would super appreciate that as we just share the stream with more and more people. Casca says, RB were faster than Merc and Ferrari raced in Bahrain. Is that true? I feel like, did we even get proper RB running in Bahrain? I feel like they had, like, I know Lawson didn't get any proper running because he had like a water issue on his full day of testing. So yeah, I don't know. I can't actually remember if RB got a good representative time, but I know Antonelli was pretty close to Leclerc, and Norris kind of blew everyone out of the water with his kind of race pace in Bahrain. So we'll see how it goes, but no more early races till Vegas. Is that right? Wow. But we do, I mean, if you're in Europe, we've got a late race coming up here with Miami. I think that's going to be, like 10 o'clock at night for us in Europe. So that'll be interesting as well. Ivan says, is it possible to have 2 premium teams and 2 premium drivers in the same team at some point this season? This is my first fantasy season. Yeah, you can get there. I think last year, Leapsfrog, the 2024 world champ, he eventually ended up running almost 3 premium drivers with 2 premium constructors by the end of the year. If I remember correctly, I think he had like 145 million in budget. So yeah, he was crushing. Dan is Says a 104.3 good budget. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Is 3 free transfers the most roll I can have? Yes, Nixie. 3 free transfers is the most that you can have. Urban says, hey, I have the same team as you, but it shows only 118 points. Is that because F1 Fantasy hasn't calculated all the points yet? Yes. Great question, Urban Payer, because yes, I am right here on the official F1 site. It does say 118 points because they don't calculate overtakes, pit stop times, all that stuff. So it looks like McLaren's going to get an extra 15 points for having a under 2.2 stop along with the fastest lap of the weekend. Williams will get some more points, and like you see here, like Stroll 0, Hulkenberg 0, Ocon 0, but they all had an overtake, so they'll eventually be moving up the charts there. So yeah, don't worry about that too much. And these are just projections. Your F1 Fantasy Tools is not like, I mean, I love them. They're one of the best. See, like this has already changed. 139 points. So I guess we've taken away some points from McLaren, or maybe they've taken away their pit stop points now. So I guess they're going to think, let's see here. I don't think Piastri would get past Verstappen, even if McLaren swapped position. Probably true, Neo, but it would have been like nice to see him challenge because Lando was nowhere. Piastri lost like 20, 30 points by little margins. Yeah. New pit stop trying to make Monaco a bit of an unknown, though. Is my inexperience showing with only getting into F1? I don't know. I mean, the pit stops, I mean, it would probably just be, oh, wait, Monaco is a 2-stop this year. It's mandated 2-stop. So I guess we'll see how that goes. Yeah. TV production has been very suboptimal so far. I agree. I root hard for Lando, but McLaren once again wet the bed by not letting Oscar have a crack for an opportunity to win. Yeah, I agreed. I was yelling at my laptop, like, what are you doing? And had he not took P1, you can always switch positions at the end. So frustrated. Yep. They should let the commentators decide on driver of the day, so how man of the match, etc. works, or else just scrap those 10 points. I think, and this is an ongoing debate in the F1 fantasy community, I think my ideal settings for the game, if I like could call them up and be like, bring, fix this, I would do qualifying points from 1st to 15th. Like, first gets 15, 15th gets 1. Because I think there should be a little bit of a reward for some of these backmarker teams qualifying for Q2. Because then it would kind of enable us to stop being like, oh no, my guy qualified for Q2. This sucks. Like, if you have a backmarker. Like, we're actively cheering. Like, yesterday I had 3 of my drivers go out in Q1. And I was like, yes! Like, let's go. So if they gave points for qualifying 1 through 15, I think that would fix that a little bit. Bring back beat teammate points, so we're not just always going after back markers as often as that. And then if you lower fastest lap to 5 points and driver of the day to 3 points, I think that would probably be ideal. If they had to go that, if they have to keep driver of the day in for some reason, I'm not sure why. Monaco is no negative for me. Let's see. Wait to see official price changes, hoping to see a spanner thrown in. Yeah, I know. The only ones I can think of right now, Fraser, are the Sonoda Lawson thing. We don't really know if they're going to be priced at the 1.2 price per million threshold or the 0.4 million price per million threshold from Australia, just because it is their first race as their official assets. How was Stroll so slow? I'm not entirely sure. I wonder if he like picked up some damage or was just not having a good weekend. Rookies will have a familiar track with now easier conditions. I am really excited what they can do. Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, F2 and F3 both race in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, if I'm remembering that correctly. So a lot of people should have a lot of experience on these tracks. Fraser, 10 p.m. from Miami. Oh, the humanity. God, us Europeans have it easy. Yeah, we do. We do have it pretty easy. So, but actually for the Miami Grand Prix, I'll actually be in the States. So for the one difficult race from now until Vegas, I will be in the correct time zone for that. So I'm just going to shut up about that. And I won't complain about any time zones. Are there many F1 fanatics in Germany, given that they don't have a home race? Well, I'm in Germany. So I guess I would class myself as an F1 fantasy fanatic. I'm pretty sure Colin Shea is German. I'm not sure if they live in Germany. But yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, there's a few of us, and I mean the Germany league has a few thousand people in it for sure. Might have, or Keshlin says, might have 106.1 in Bahrain. That's pretty nice. If Piastri can't get past Norris in dirty air, he won't get past Verstappen. True, but it would have been nice to see. Stroll had 2 pits. Everyone else had 1. What do you think is the future for Yuki? Do you think he will be successful with RB? I think while it wasn't an outstanding first drive for Yuki Tsunoda, the fact that it was quiet, he gained a few spots, he beat Lawson. So, like, that's the major bugaboo about what was going on with Lawson. He was getting, like, spanked by Yuki in the races in a less, or inferior car. So, yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think it's, I mean, he didn't get the podium that he was kind of talking about earlier in the week, but he has kind of, yeah, I guess we'll see. But I think it was a fine weekend for Tsunoda. It would have been nicer for him to score points. But overall, I don't think there's any pressure on him now. Like, he didn't have such a bad weekend that we're going to be talking about him most of the time. We are 2 subscribers away from 2550. So you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I have answered your question today. That would be much appreciated. You could just like and subscribe the video. It'd be very, very appreciated. Guillermo says, the driver of the day should be 50% of the fans and 50% for commentators, analysts, and pilots. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I could just do away with it altogether. It just seems kind of weird. Fraser says, I wonder if their AB class boundary may be variable that can change based on the total price of all assets. Probably not, but it's possible. That is far too complicated for this game, Fraser. I like it, but far too complicated. I mean, not on our side to figure that out, but for the game developers sometimes. Casper says, team I have in mind for Bahrain needs 5 transfers. I have 3 available, so could just do negative 10 points plus final fix. I'm overthinking, right? I should just wildcard. Negative 5 free transfers, yeah. You can wildcard that, Casper. Don't worry. You should be fine. Is Lando going to stop making mistakes at some point? No, that just kind of seems to be how he is at this point. So, I don't know. Yeah. But you can't bottle pole if you're not on pole, Ivan. So that's, he's just thinking outside the box. Nigel the Crab, 124 provisional points, a rough week. Well, if it's 124 provisional points on the F1 website, then you're doing better than I, Mr. Crab. Or at least on my T1 team. So I guess this is my T2 team with 124 points. The T3 team has 127 provisional points. So we'll see where it all ends up in a little bit. I'm just glad Stroll finished. Was worried he might retire the cars. He was so far off the pace. Yeah, as soon as we got to lap 50, I was like, you can go in the shop now, Lance. It's fine because you don't get a DNF penalty after 95% of the race. Thank you to all the new subscribers that just got us over 2,550 subscribers. Appreciate that. I say we let Ted decide driver of the day. Hey, don't hate it. Don't hate it. Nigel the Crab says, considered setting up memberships. I have thought about it, Nigel, but I am just having a good time making content right now. So maybe in the future, maybe if we get to like a little break in the season, but it would be a little bit more commitment. But we could do some like member live streams or something like that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this after the race or something, if that is something you'd be interested in, or yeah, let me know in the chat if that is something you'd be interested in, like a tiny member tier or something for the F1 Fantasy Pole Position channel. But other than that, I'll just be doing it for free because I'm mostly just talking at y'all to get all of these thoughts out of my head. So I really appreciate you guys being here with me, letting it know. We got about 15 minutes left in the review stream today. It's been super fun. Should we just go over what the drivers were scoring, like how we did today? We've just kind of been answering questions. So what's better, Piastri McLaren, Mercedes, or Norris McLaren Williams? I mean, for points, it's the left. And for budget, it's probably the right as of right now. So we will see. We will see. So just going down the teams or the drivers here: Verstappen 37, Norris 28, Piastri 24. Could have been so much better. Antonelli 23. Could have been so much worse. Leclerc, Russell with 19, Tsunoda 14, Hamilton 11. So Hamilton and Leclerc are still projected to fall due to their double DSQs in China. So I think we're still going to be off them for a little bit here. Guillermo says, Kimi broke the record, the youngest pilot to make the fastest lap, which was Max's. Did you know? Yes, I did see that. They mentioned that on the broadcast. They had like a little lower third pop up. So he's like, or he was the youngest driver to lead a race in F1 history and also to win the fastest lap. So good job by Kimi. Good job by him. What are the drivers that will be increasing budget even with negative points next week? I think it's just Hadjar right now, Hector, but waiting for kind of the official, like once we get the official points and stuff, we will see how that goes. And they'll have all the numbers will be here on the budget builder on f1fantasytools.com. Fantastic website. And 50% off your first month with promo code UN50. And if you wait until Friday, you'll get the next, if you wait till Friday the 11th, you'll get the next 3 races in that first month for 50% off. So not bad at all. Over here, back to the live scoring. On the constructors side, nothing too crazy. I mean, McLaren, Mercedes, and Ferrari kind of being super close was interesting. Hamilton just, I mean, I don't even think we heard one George Russell team radio today, did we? Just like a box when he kind of started the pit stops. So, yeah, he was pretty quiet. Mercedes, I mean, Antonelli was the loudest one, probably out of Mercedes, Ferrari. Yeah, didn't get a lot Ferrari running. Yeah, it was a little bit of a snooze fest, guys. So powering through that and then coming to talk F1 Fantasy, I really, really appreciate it. FPL YOLO says, how does your team look for Bahrain? It'll probably look okay. Early thoughts will be Williams out, Stroll out, Hulkenberg out for Mercedes, Hadjar, and I might have to do Bortoleto or Doohan. If I can do it with Doohan, I'll do it with him for the 3 transfers, which will be a negative 10. But I'm probably looking at a hit next week to bring in McLaren or Mercedes for now. However, there's a world where I keep budget building with the B tier constructors. It just really depends on where all the maths shakes out. With budget building, like Haas needed a double DNF today to not go up 0.6 million. So there's a world where we can get weird. Maybe try to roll. Who knows? I mean, in all fantasy sports, the first option should be to roll a transfer. You'd always want to do that to have the extra flexibility for the next week. You don't always have to use your 2 free transfers or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So that would be my 3 moves right now. Williams, Stroll, Hulkenberg out for Mercedes, Hadjar, and Bortoleto. Peter says, how low do you expect Hadjar and Bortoleto to drop? The price floor was 4.5 million last year, right? Yeah, I'm curious how low it will go. We'll find out in a few hours. If Bortoleto sticks at 4.5, I'll bring him in no matter what, because that means even if he sucks, he can't go lower than that. So like that's just a set and forget asset. Maybe he won't score a ton of points, and you can improve him the next few or after a few races. But if he can't sink any lower than that, then that's pretty nice. But I think he will go lower than that because, and this is a big kind of if, like the game developers must have thought of if they got hit by a DNF, they would go down 3 races and then pricing Bortoleto at 5.8 or whatever he was at, or 5.5. I don't really remember. They must have thought of like, oh, well, he'll be down there in like 2 races. So or 3 races. So we'll see how low he can go. I think maybe 4 million will be as low as it goes. So even if he goes down to 4.2 and I can only lose 0.2 with him in Bahrain, I might still go with him. Guillermo says, you have a channel league? I do. It should be in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. But there's also probably one of these slides right above my head is going to come up with a league code. But if you go to the F1 Fantasy game and you go to leagues and you go to public leagues and hit join a league, I should be down here. Over here, Rotoballer League, that is actually where I do my writing, so you guys can join that league as well. But then I should be around here somewhere. Okay, I used to be on this page, but if you search for F1 Fantasy pole position, it should be right there as well. So, or enter the league code that's right above my head at this moment. Fraser says, LOL, you really think the developers thought about anything? Maybe not, Fraser. Maybe not. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. I guess we could see the provisional. So yeah, it looks like I've only gone up 20,000. I don't think there'll be a lot of movement in your leagues this week then, because yeah, my T3 team has only risen 20,000 in the provisional standings. So maybe not a lot of movement this week in F1 Fantasy standings. My bachelor thesis I'm working on involves predicting F1 race results. Only got into fantasy this year, and Fantasy Tools is the coolest thing ever. It's like my thesis, but it actually works well. Hey, keep going, Casper. You will definitely get there eventually. But yeah, F1 Fantasy Tools is an insanely handy website. I use them for almost, if not every single video, like 99.5% of every video that I make when it comes to F1 fantasy. But yeah, so it's been, so Bahrain next, then Saudi Arabia as we finish off the final 2 races of this triple header. Then we got a week break before Miami, a week break after Miami, and then it's the European season. Well, for 3 weeks, and then we go back to Canada. So, okay. But yeah, let me know. Is anyone trying to go to an F1 race this year? Has anyone been to one already? Has anyone got tickets for one? What is one that I should shoot for? I'm over here in Europe. Red Bull Ring is on my mind. I have not been to that one, so I'm kind of thinking about going there as well. That would be fantastic for me, as long as I'm not gone that weekend. I'm not gone that weekend, so there we go. That's nice. But yeah, let me know. Oh, sorry, I just clicked on your question again there, Casper. But yeah, looking like, some of the pit stop points have been added back in. So that's where we're at there with McLaren. Dan Disco Heat says Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi this year. That's a lot. That's a lot at the end of the season too. So you'll be traveling quite a bit, Disco Heat, but very jealous. Mexico looks cool. Brazil is always a banger usually. So that is quite nice. Hungary is the cheapest if budget is key. Yeah, I could get to Budapest pretty easily. Belgium general admission is great price-wise. Red Bull Ring is very expensive. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know, Nikolai. I will have to think of that. Yeah, the spa's not too far away from me here. Could probably get there on a train. And that's in July. I don't think I have a lot going on in July. But yeah, Hungary would be nice too. And Hungary is the last one before the summer break as well. So, yeah, not too bad. Mitchell says, I'm new to F1 Fantasy. How soon after a race are points finalized? It can honestly take, I think last year we once waited like 2.5 days, Mitchell. But that shouldn't be the case this year because they have done like projected points and stuff like that as well. So they are getting better with their live scoring and all that fun stuff. But yeah, maybe just the next, I would wait maybe the next few hours, but I mean, if you're in the States, like you can definitely go to bed and, wake up and the point should be there. Yeah. I would probably anticipate around the middle of the afternoon here, European time, early afternoon, European time. Disco says, I went to Spa last year. It was fun. Did the joyride in an Alpine. General admission is super good. Just bring a camping chair. Okay. Good to know. I wonder how, yeah. I could definitely get to Spa. So have to think about that. Mitchell says, interesting. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, Mitchell. Hector says, if Colapinto is back, would he be a good investment in the game? That could get really interesting. Because Doohan is going to be, what is he, 5.4 million? He'll be 5.4 million for the next race. Let's see. Can I click on him? Yeah, so Doohan will be 5.4 million for Bahrain. And I think the game would not do what they did with Tsunoda and Lawson, because that's such an unusual situation. I think they'd probably give Colapinto a whole new driver card, and I think they would maybe put him at where, like, they might put him where Gasly is at that time. They might put him where Doohan started the season at 7.2 million, but I don't think they'll do a straight swap whenever Colapinto comes in. My bold predictions, the very first video I did for the 2025 season, I did say that Doohan was going to get more than 6 races, but having a massive shunt like he did in FP2 the other day is not going to help his case. And I think he'll survive this triple header because it's just bang, bang, bang. Like, those races are going to get out of the way. But with the week break before Miami, and just like Colapinto from South America, from Argentina, Miami, North America, if I was Alpine and I was doing like a marketing blitz or whatever, and I knew I was going to bring Colapinto in at some point this season, it would be for Miami, because then you'd get him in for 2 weeks in the simulator before Miami, 2 weeks afterwards, and then there's a triple header in Europe, and that would be kind of that's what I would do if I was Alpine. If I was set on getting Colapinto in at some point this season, and I was already made up my mind about doing, that's when I would do it. But I don't know. So, but yeah, I think he could come in probably around Gasly's price. I don't think he would just get Doohan's price. I'm starting to move for team points more than budget. Yeah, you can still do that. I mean, we've all kind of built our budget over the last couple of weeks. Not all, but a lot of people have. So yeah, I think I'm still going to try and balance points and budget, because I think it is worth it in the long term, especially with a lot of these back markers are doing okay right now for building budget. So we'll see how we go there. Garam says, Arvid Lindblad is going to Red Bull. Do you think is a good option? I mean, like, he's not transferring into Red Bull for the next race, right? Like, I'm not missing some massive news. I guess I can go on the old Twitter machine and make sure I'm not missing. Let's see here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. No, I think we're okay. But yeah, Lindblad at Red Bull, I think I would say that he maybe can get, like, I guess just depending on what Lawson does, I could maybe see Lawson getting booted for like the last couple of races this season. They bring in Lindblad, but yeah, I think Lindblad is like part of the future of Red Bull, especially if like Verstappen were to jolt for Aston Martin or Mercedes. So I would expect to see him definitely on the grid in 2026, but maybe at the back end of 2025. Nikolai says, if I remember correctly, Spa is a sprint, so I'd be definitely worth it. You know what? Spa is a sprint. You're correct. So that'd be fantastic. Fraser said, just thinking, why on earth did McLaren pit Piastri first? Only makes sense to force Max to pit next lap and run Norris long. And if they should have, because McLaren is McLaren, Fraser. They oofed it once again. They can't get this right. It's like going on a season at this point where it's like, okay, you guys have the fastest car and you keep costing your team. So I don't know. It's very frustrating as a Papaya fan. If they had pit Norris first, he probably would have undercut Max. Exactly. Signs negative $10,000 for missing national anthem. Damn. Oh wow, that's brutal. That is brutal. But we are 1 minute to go here, folks. So yeah, I appreciate you guys joining me for the review stream. I'm gonna make this like a standalone episode on YouTube as well. I'm gonna like chop it up a little bit, make it a little bit nicer. And post it on YouTube later today as well. And yeah, I'll go out on the podcast side as well. But if you're watching, you probably won't want to listen to the audio side as well. But yeah, I think the undercut maybe wasn't on today. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think, did anyone, like maybe Hajar had a successful undercut, but that is about it. But yeah, I hope everyone had a good, I think, thanks for the stream. Yeah, you're welcome, Mitch and Nikolai. I said max, and I'm sticking by it. I said max at the beginning of the year, and I'm sticking by it because this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. McLaren's, Ferraris just fighting out amongst each other, and Max was just going to come through with a couple of podiums, wins here and there, and it's all kind of coming true through the first 3 races of the season. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining me this morning. I appreciate it, or evening, or wherever you are watching in the world. I'll be back tomorrow with a team selection video. It'll be out about 6:30 UK time. 1:30 US Eastern, and then I'll be back on Wednesday night as well with a Q&A stream. So hopefully I will see y'all there. But if you're watching this at a later date, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. As you can see, we're almost at 2560. So let's get towards 2,600 people. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will talk to you next time.